Good morning, everyone. Here's what's coming up on Kaleidoscope.
Don Tollefson will be with us for part 1 of an exclusive interview. Kaleidoscope is next.
You're watching IHS TV, Channel 11. And now, Barry Harris, Laura Boyd, and the K-Scope News team. This is Kaleidoscope News this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Today's Monday, May 18th. I'm Laura Boyd.
And I'm Barry Harris. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. We're going to start you off with a look at the current temperatures.
Hi, this is Steph with the weather. Today will be cloudy with a high of 63. Tonight's low will be 45. The current temperature is 53 degrees and the humidity is at 38%. And the barometric pressure is at 30.24 and steady. And now to birthdays.
Good morning, Interboro. This is Will with the birthdays. The birthdays for today are Christopher Simmons, Michael Spermelli, and Mr. Perry. Happy birthday. And now over to today's headline.
Good morning, this is Jess with today's headline. A massive explosion occurred late last night at the Sunoco refinery in Marcus Hook. Many residents nearby have been concerned about their safety. Now back to the news desk.
Attention all Spanish students. If you are interested in being a Spanish club officer next year, please stop by room 228 for a letter of intent. Students must submit their letter of intent to Senora Feller by next Friday. Now, without further ado, here is Barry Harris and Don Tollefson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Harris, and I'm here with Don Tollefson.
And sports is next.
Thanks, Tolly. Good morning, Interboro. This is Allie with today's sports. Attention football players, impact concussion testing will be held in Mr. Allison's room today after school. The JV baseball team finished its season on Friday by defeating Springfield 8-5. The winning pitcher was Don Doherty, and Joe King got the save. The JV squad ended their season with a record of 12 wins and 1 loss. The varsity baseball team takes on Westchester Henderson today at home for the first round of the playoffs. The game starts at 4. And the softball team also has their first playoff game today at Boyertown at 4. The Phillies defeated the Nationals yesterday 8-6. And that's it for sports. Now over to the news desk.
Who holds the Philly record for home runs in a season?
Mike Schmidt, 48.
Don Tollefson is synonymous with Philadelphia sports.
With Don Tollefson.
He started his career at Channel 6, setting the tone for the newly minted format there. He moved on to launch Good Day Philadelphia at Fox 29, where he later moved back to the sports department. Now Tally is a sportscaster for Fox Sports and hosts his radio show, The Other Side of Sports, every week on ESPN Radio. But most close to his heart is the work he does with America's youth. As Tolly says, it's all about the kids. Well, we are here with the man, Don Tollefson. Well, thanks for joining us.
Barry, my pleasure. Glad to be here.
All right. You know, how were you first bit by the journalism bug?
I really think that it was more the writing bug. I was very, very fortunate that both my mother, I was raised in a single-parent home in California, both my mother and her mother, my grandmom, really stressed the writing process and the writing skill when I was a little kid. And I really just enjoyed the process of writing, whether it was following a game on TV and writing my own little stories or keeping the box scores or something like that. And I think that when I saw how journalism could give me an outlet where my writing would be seen by a lot of people, that was kind of a natural segue.
And I know one of your first jobs, you were a writer for the Associated Press.
Yep. I worked on a couple of projects for the Associated Press that involved the Stanford community. And in those days, the 1970s, this was a lot of money, but you would get like $5 or $10 for each story. And sometimes it was just like a line score from Stanford baseball, for instance. And then when the Patty Hearst kidnapping occurred, which really in some recent historical books that I've been reading is considered in the 20th century probably second only to the Lindbergh kidnapping in terms of a high-profile celebrity kidnapping. But when Patty Hearst, who was a newspaper heiress, was kidnapped, Associated Press people called me up and said, would you be interested in working on this for a couple of days, because most people thought it would be a short-lived case. And I ended up working as a full-time reporter for them for 6 months on that case.
Wow. And you were discovered by ABC Sports through a nationwide talent search. How did that happen?
It was one of those things where I often say, Barry, to young people, whatever their ambition may be, that the worst thing you can do is not try, despite what may seem like insurmountable odds. And ABC Sports back in the early 70s was conducting a nationwide talent search, and each college or university that had at least, say, a Division I basketball team, if that was what it was called in the day, I don't know, but a team that played at the highest level of college basketball or college football, would nominate through their sports information department some young journalist who was working on campus, who might be amenable to being on television at the national level, as in all of them. So there were hundreds of people in the talent search, and I was fortunate enough to be selected along with Jim Lampley in that talent search.
We'll have part 2 of our interview tomorrow. In other news, we discovered a gold mine in terms of historic footage. WHYY aired a program called Anatomy of a Newscast, which documented the making of an 11 o'clock newscast on KYW3. That program was thought to be lost to the ages. However, we recently discovered our own pneumatic copy of it from 1982. We wrote to the broadcast pioneers who asked for a copy of that, so Interboro High School's television studio will be donating that as a gift to the broadcast pioneers of Philadelphia. And their mission is to help preserve broadcast history, and we're proud to help them with part of their mission. Now we turn our attention to the menu item of the day.
Hi, this is Nick with the menu. Today we'll have grilled cheese sandwich with carrot and celery sticks and chilled peaches. Now over to the vocab word.
Good morning, Interboro. This is Con with the vocab word of the day. Today's vocab word is excursion, meaning a trip or outing. For example, the freshmen have an excursion to Dorney Park today. Now over to Kim with the quote of the day.
This is Kim with the quote of the day. Charles William Stubbs once said, "To sit alone with my conscience will be judgment enough for me." Now over to this day in history.
This is Chris with This Day in History. On this date, May 18, 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte was proclaimed Emperor of France by the French Senate. And in 1896, the Supreme Court affirmed racial segregation in Plessy versus Ferguson as separate but equal. Now over to trivia.
This is Brooke with the trivia. Did you know that there are 333 toilet paper squares on a roll of toilet paper? Now over to entertainment.
What's going on, Interboro? It's DJ with the entertainment. Some video games coming out this week are UFC 09 Undisputed, Terminator Salvation, and Bionic Commando, all for the Xbox 360 and PS3. Now over to Barry at the news desk.
That's it, everyone. Thanks for watching Kaleidoscope. I'm Laura Boyd.
And I'm Barry Harris. You know, today's been an exciting day, and no pun intended, but it's been totally awesome. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.